What's going on, people? It's Mr. back again with the preview show. I hope everyone's fit and well. And yes, another big game for Nottingham Forest. It's Nottingham Forest against Bristol City tomorrow. Live at City Ground. Back, we've not been there for quite a while now, but we're back. And we've got another tough game. And this time against Bristol City. I've got a special guest in Matt. How you doing, Matt?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. How are you, sir?
I feel great. Before we do start, I did apologise to Matt because as every Forest fan know, and Matt knows what we're talking about, and Forest fans will know what we're talking about. We will be talking about the game that happened previously at their ground, but that's something that we can talk about later. People, like if you are new to the channel, please do hit the like button, subscribe if you know, and comment below, people. What is your predictions for tomorrow's game? As well, people, if you want to be a member, please, the link is below. It's £2.99 as well. So every time I come on the stream, you can join the stream as well. If you want to ask a question to me or Matt or regarding Bristol City as well, put like a super chat as well, so Matt can answer it as well. And like I said, people, hit the subscribe button. There's lots to talk about. We'll be, like I said, 20 to 25 minutes to talk about today's game. Right, Matt, before we do talk about the game, I know, as people know, I had Patch on as well, but Matt as well, he's on the Bristol City vlog as well. So Matt, before we start, talk about your podcast.
Yeah, so it's Three Peeps in the podcast. It was something Patch has an ordinary show, or a normal show, I should say, Three Peeps in the podcast. We met at the local BBC Radio Bristol radio station on a programme on a Monday night called Sound of the City. Got talking, became friends, and then he accompanied me on the way back from a very heavy defeat against Huddersfield Town, going back probably 2 seasons at least, maybe 3 even. And we just started talking on my drive back from Huddersfield. I was actually working in Liverpool the next day, and so we were on the phone for about an hour, and that was the sort of first podcast. And because we weren't doing very well, it was good to talk in defeat, and so we kind of kept it going, and it's been going ever since, strength to strength. We've had our owner Steve Lansdown on. We've had the chairman John Lansdown. Patch does another show called Robin's Reunited, where he gets ex-Bristol City players or staff. And recently, I don't know if it was in the national news, but we had a celebration last weekend for a group of players called the Ashton Gate 8, who back in 1982, when we were minutes from going bust, these 8 players tore their contracts up. So last weekend was a celebration of that because it was 40 years. And Patch has got a couple of shows going for that. So yeah, all stemmed from a heavy defeat and 2 mates talking it through. And as they say, for everybody, but especially men of a certain age, it's good to talk, and that's how it proved.
Yeah, so like I said, the podcast is in the link below, people.
Thank you.
Anyone that comes on the channel, I'd like to promote it as well. So people in the link below, go and support the channel. Right, Matt, before we do talk about tomorrow's game, as everyone is aware, Nottingham Forest what a game at Bristol City. I know Pat didn't want to come on because he didn't want to talk about it.
Well, I do wonder. He is on a stag do in Dublin, so I think that's probably why. But yeah, he lumped me with it, didn't he?
So, but right, so people, if you want to see the vlog, make sure you watch it after this. Matt, come on, let's talk about me, man, because I know as a Bristol City fan, you must have been absolutely devastated. Come on, talk to me, man.
Do you know what? It's been the story of our last few seasons, really. We've gone from some really big highs when we had Lee Johnson as our manager. We played Man United and beat Man United in the quarterfinals of the League Cup, and then played Man City and took them close. And then from that point on, it was a slow decline. Nigel Pearson came in. Hasn't been able to spend a lot of money as a lot of clubs because of COVID, and wasn't really turning things around. But we're starting to see a few things now. But that Notts Forest game was very typical. We played okay. We weren't brilliant. I think Forest had been reasonable. And am I right in thinking Steve Cooper had joined you by then, hadn't he?
Yeah.
From memory, I'm trying to erase it from my mind because of what happened. But I know.
Matt does this, Matt.
No.
There's 5 fans who will keep raising it to you. But talk to me about it. You got to talk to me.
Yeah. So I think we went 1-0 up. Alex Scott scored, a young lad who we'll hopefully talk about a bit more. And then, I'm sure it was in injury time, but you equalised. Who got your equaliser? I can't think. Was it Lyle Taylor or both? Yeah. And then we're kind of, as I said, it had been a bit of a pattern. We played Blackpool at the start of the season and conceded in injury time. I think I'm right in thinking that we've conceded something like 23 points, maybe slightly more, from winning positions. But in injury time, we conceded quite a few. And at 1-1, we're thinking, crikey, have we chucked this away? And no sooner do you give the ball back to us, or I think you race to the centre circle and we take the kick-off. We've somehow then lost the ball. You've raced down, and then it's another goal. And there was a bit of debate about it being a handball, but not for me at the time.
Never.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You know what?
But
I was waiting for this. I'm not gonna lie. I was waiting for that. Saying, it's a handball.
Yeah, no.
Yourself.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm saying there was a few that thought, but not for me. And obviously, we lose 2-1, and you go from a game where you're thinking we've won this, and actually, I remember, and I'm gradually remembering as it was. Genuinely remember talking to a mate of mine who sits by me and said, with about 5 minutes to go, this isn't over yet, because I thought Forest were playing well. And I know he's not with you now, or he's gone to Birmingham on loan. I always liked Lyle Taylor, and just felt that when he came on with his pink hair, he was going to make a difference. But bloody hell, did we know it was going to be a difference like that? And to score 2 like you did, we were crestfallen, absolutely devastated. But yeah, it was again a little bit like it's been happening to us too often this season, really. You walked away with the 3 points.
I remember. I still remember this game. It's like I went to the game as well, Matt,
right.
And it was the best. Like for me, when I remember the game, we wasn't that bad.
Yeah,
I think a draw would have been good for us.
Yeah,
but just to win, to win like that, I couldn't believe it. And as well, people, like I said, if you want to watch the vlog, the link is below. You've got to watch it because it's the most viewed vlog I've done.
Is it really? Yeah.
Yes, it is. And Matt, you've got to watch it. I've never celebrated that in life because, as you said,
I'll watch the celebration. I'm not going to watch the game again.
I've never seen it. When we scored the first goal, I was still celebrating.
Yeah.
And then I didn't know Lyle Taylor ran back.
Yeah.
And then and then when Joe Long is coming forward, I'm thinking, what's going on here?
Yeah.
So I'm going mad. I've never screamed. I don't know if you noticed, Matt. Did you hear any screaming when Lyle Taylor scored the second goal?
No, well, I'll be honest. I'm pretty sure I sat there in disbelief, and I'm sure because I go with a couple of friends. I'm sure I said to them, "You just carry on walking to the car. I need to sit here for a bit." Where I was there, and you know what it's like. Any football fan knows what conceding the last minute equalisers like, but to concede 2 like we did in injury time. And obviously from that point on, you've not looked back, have you? I mean, it's been an incredible run, both league and cup. And actually, Steve Cooper, because I write the local fans column for the local paper, and I made reference to Nigel Pearson the other week, sort of saying that his record isn't great with us, but we are starting to see things turning around slightly. But I said, you look at what Steve Cooper's done, and similarly with Chris Wilder coming in, for you before Chris Hughton was appointed for you. We had, like I said, Lee Johnson got sacked, relieved of his duties, mutual consent or whatever. And then we went something like 6 weeks trying to appoint the next manager. Chris Hughton was rumoured strongly to be favourite. I actually did an interview for the local local TV station, where because it was expected to be announced on the Saturday and they had very limited cover because of sort of COVID times and things, I had to do an interview making out that Chris Hughton had been appointed, that they could then run on the Saturday. Obviously didn't get appointed. Dean Holden, who was Lee Johnson's assistant, did. Started off really well, but then things went downhill. And then subsequently, we've obviously got Nigel Pearson. But yeah, it was one of those where I said the other week that Nigel Pearson's record still isn't great in terms of points. And actually, look at what Steve Cooper's done. Look at what Chris Wilder's done. And I got a bit of stick for that because sort of fans were saying, well, they weren't in the same sort of state as us. And I said, well, I'm pretty sure Forest were bottom when Steve Cooper came in, or very close to it.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. So, yeah, it just goes to show when you've got managers that can come in, they've got a style that they want to play, and they get players playing for them. What a difference it makes. And Steve Cooper and Chris Wilder have done that, haven't they? So.
I'm just going to look at the comments, Matt. People saying predictions 1-0 Forest. Matt Smart, evening chat. Shout out to Michaela. Jones is 3-0 to Forest, 4-0 to Forest. I'll tell Matt later on about the score. That's sweet. I can talk about later on at the end of the show.
There's some big shouts there, though, isn't there? 3 and 4-0.
Best away game for years. Gary was next to me.
Okay.
Well, so shout out to Gary as well. Still celebrating the first goal when we attacked the second. Crazy.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know this. I don't know if you know this guy. This is David Johnson, still my favourite away game. What a night! That's Brendan Johnson's dad.
That isn't the David Johnson Ipswich, and is it really? Well, nice to see David Johnson. What a player! What a player!
Dad's John as well, man. Big
and his lad, what a player! But yeah, David Johnson, I remember very well. I had a mate who's an Ipswich fan, so know a lot about David from that. But yeah, it was incredible. Like you said, I couldn't believe there was enough time for you to run, get the ball, win it back. I mean, it's not like it's rugby where you have to kick the ball back to the opposition. You actually then won it, and incredible, absolutely incredible.
As well, looking at Gary, door on the floor, still filming.
yeah.
Oh, that does it as well. You might know this guy. One Rose vlog, evening door. Make sure you win tomorrow. That's Bristol Rovers plan.
Bristol Rovers. Yeah, I think they're in the bottom division, aren't they, Bristol Rovers, from memory?
Ooh.
I don't pay a lot of attention to them, to be honest with you. It's been something like 21 years since they were the last above us in the league. So, yeah, I don't pay much attention to the Rovers, if I'm honest.
As well, I'm just going to comment. And Stephen Johnson. Johnson's cheers, Matthew. That's from David Johnson.
Pleasure.
As well.
Thank you, David.
Right, so we'll talk about Bristol City's form. Like I said, you mentioned that you're conceding late goals as well, and your form, like with Pearson.
Yep.
I said it on my vlog. Like before we played you, your home form wasn't that great, but
that's right.
It was. You've done a little bit better, haven't you? But talk to me about what.
So up until the other night against Coventry, which we lost again with a last-minute goal. We'd actually won 4 on the spin at home, and it's one of those. I think we've probably all been through it, and you Forest fans would have been the same. That if you lose games, but you lose because you're playing the right way, it's entertaining to watch. You don't mind that as much, but we were losing games, and it was just not pretty to watch. Nigel Pearson's brought in, or he's given the youngsters a bit of not a free run, but he's brought them in and he said, right, they'll come in, they'll make mistakes. So the other night, Hanna Masenga, who you will have recognised, I'm sure, from the home game, but you will tomorrow. He's the lad in midfield with the great big sort of hair on it.
Yeah,
hell of a player, but lost the ball the other night in midfield, and as I say, we conceded. But yeah, we going probably back about, I don't know, 8 or 9 games, it wasn't brilliant. You could see we'd play well for bits, and we'd play well in one game, and then we'd be poor for another couple of games. But over the last 5-6 weeks, we've played some decent stuff. Blackpool away, we got beat 3-1, and we just weren't very good. We then beat Reading at home, played really well in the first half, got a bit of a not a battering, but Reading really came onto us, and when they scored 1 goal, we thought, oh, here we go again. Then we lost a bit of it's not really a local derby, but Swansea, we were in the end well beaten. Then we beat Borough, and it was a really good game again. And a really good game. And again, partly because of the atmosphere with the Ashton Gate 8 thing, that added to it. But Borough, I mean, it's the best Borough side I've seen in years, football-wise. And then the Coventry the other night, we've lost 2-1. But honestly, if you listen to any of our podcasts and you go on any of the fans forums, fans were disappointed in the result. But actually, performance-wise, we played some really good stuff. Nigel Pearson came out and said that we played some of the best football that we've played sort of, since he's been in charge. So we're a bit of a mixed bag. We don't know what we're going to get. Our record actually at your place hasn't been too bad over the last few seasons.
Yeah. You know what? That's what I was about to talk about later on, but carry on.
Yeah, it hasn't been too bad. So, but I couldn't tell you today. We could get beat 3-1, 4-1. We could win 1-0. We could draw 2-2. It's just one of them. You just don't know what you're going to get.
And I'll talk about manager. This is a comment here from True Red. Do you feel that person has come in with results has improved or with his position in the league? So with that regarding that, like since Pearson's come in, I know, like I said, it's as a manager, from outside looking in, it's been. I thought it was a strange appointment when he came in. When he was at Leicester, I thought himself, who's that? But as a fan, again, what do you think about Pearson so far?
It's one of those. Through the podcast, I've had the pleasure of meeting him. What you see if you look at the clips when he was at Leicester from a media point of view, in the whole, he had the one reporter was like an ostrich with his head in the sand. He doesn't take to the media that well, especially if he gets asked lazy questions. He doesn't sort of give them the niceties that other managers will. He will just basically brush them off. But he's definitely the sort of manager we've needed for quite a few years, where he will come out and say how he thinks, what he thinks about players, not over the top with it, and he's not disrespectful necessarily. I mean, I guess some might argue he is, but even recently, the chairman John Lansdowne came out in a news article or a report and said that he thought we were underperforming and felt we were underperforming. Nigel Pearson then came out and reacted to that and said, no, he doesn't believe we are, and he thinks the chairman was wrong. And you look at it and think that's never good if the chairman and the manager are at odds. But it wasn't really like that. The way that he dealt with it, and despite, I mean, his record is probably certainly in the bottom 3, if not the bottom 2, all-time lowest points record for a Bristol City manager. And yet I would say he's probably still got 60 to 75% of the fan base absolutely think he's the right man for the job. They really do. I think because he's playing the youngsters, because he's had his hands tied a little bit with transfers and that side of things, a lot of fans still think that he is the right man for the job. Now, the summer is going to be massive for us. If we do stay up, which I think there are probably 3 teams because of points deductions. Derby, and I know I'm saying this to a Forest fan, but Derby's, but they're certainly not the worst team in the league.
They're not. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
I'm not going to lie.
Exactly.
They're not.
They're a better side than us in terms of points tally. If it
No,
wasn't
I wouldn't say the worst. They're the better side. No.
Just in terms of the point deduction, I guess it's one of those that. And Peterborough obviously haven't done great. Barnsley haven't done great. So I think I don't know where we'll finish. We won't be far away from those bottom positions. But I think the experience that the young lads have had, I think it's a massive summer for Nigel Pearson. That he has to recruit right. But if we start off points-wise next season in the same way, I don't know that they will then stick with him. Because he came in and said it's a 3-year plan. And he's subsequently sort of said he didn't realise just how much work there was to do, and he's right. And we've had, like every club, though, we've had injuries, but we've had injuries to key players. So I would say I'm a little bit like that with Nigel Pearson throughout the season. There are times I think surely every manager, and we've all had managers that we've liked, but it's the points at the end of the day. And if you're not doing what you should be doing in the league table, Lee Johnson got sacked because he'd taken us forward, and then when we stopped plateaued and started going down, that was the time for him to go. So it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, I would say certainly over half are definitely in favour of Nigel Pearson. I think he's the right man for the job.
People as well, if you want to ask any questions to Matt regarding Bristol City's form, please
Yeah,
do.
please.
If you want to do any super chats as well, people want to support my channel, please do. And if you can hit the like button as well, there's 45 people in, please do hit the like button. It does help my channel as well.
Excellent.
Matt, when we talk about your players, I know we're going to talk about ex-club player Chris Martin. He still plays for your club. But
He does.
What players have been stood up for you so far this season?
Yeah, an obvious one is Alex Scott.
Yeah,
and I hope I'm not jinxing him tomorrow. But the other night against Coventry, he played centre mid, and he bossed the game. He's only recent. Oh, he's not long turned 18. He might even be 19 now. I'm saying that, but he came from Guernsey. Really got blooded by Nigel Pearson, and he's played this season right back for us, attacking wing back. He's played centre mid. He's played in a 10. He's one of those players, and the manager has said it, and he's himself has done an interview where he just wants to play. He doesn't care where he plays. He just wants to play. But if he plays in the middle, he's a very, very intelligent footballer. So he's one. Chris Martin he's probably been a bit Marmite for some fans, but he puts a hell of a shift in. The other night he was my man of the match. I thought he was superb. So he's sort of in there. Andy Weimann up front. So the again ex-Derby, ex-Villa. He's scored the most goals he's ever scored in a season so far, and he's really been on fire, playing really well. And he sets the tempo for our team. So if Andy Weimann's on form and is really buzzing around, he will set the tempo for everything else. And then it's really about, again, a couple of the youngsters, Hannah Masengo, like I've talked about. He plateaued a little bit or had a bit of a dip in form, but then we went to Preston, when was that, end of January. And Preston fans stayed to clap him off, and their fans forum was full of, this was the best performance we've seen from an opposition player in years. And again, he's a kid of, I don't know, 20 years of age, something like that. So, and then probably the last one is, do you know what? I've got a feeling, as I'm about to talk about him, I've got a feeling he might even be a Nottingham lad. I might have that wrong, but Antoine Semenyo. So he's not ex-Forest, but I've got a feeling he may have come from Nottingham. And I'm going to look at it.
Is he from? I'm going to see. Give me the comments.
Have a look. So he's definitely, he's not, we picked him up from a local college, but for some reason in my head I thought he was from Nottingham, and I might be completely wrong. He may actually be. I'm just looking now to see where it says he was born. Striker, substitute.
I don't know if he is from.
Doesn't actually say. So I might have that completely wrong, but something popped in my head then. No, sorry, Chelsea he was born, so I have got that completely wrong. But he's another one that sort of last season was a bit in and out. The goals he scored were ones that he closed the keeper down, hit him on the backside and flew in. But this season he's been a real handful, and I think hopefully he's on form tomorrow and he will cause your backline a few problems, because he's a big, powerful lad, hell of a pace. And genuinely, and I hope, just from a football fan's point of view, obviously I'd love it if he scores, but at the very least I hope he gets a couple of shots away, because I've never seen a Bristol City player hit the ball as hard with both feet. He can absolutely rifle. If you've got an interest, but if you have a look at the goals he scored against Fulham this season, one with his left, one with his right, he absolutely rifles them in. So he's definitely one to look out for. So it would be the youngsters and probably Antoine as well. Yeah.
People have said we have about another 10 minutes to go, but please get in the comments if you want to ask any questions for us, Matt. You can. Matt, you spoke about. I always talk about rival fans about Nottingham Forest. You mentioned Steve Cooper. His form has been, I can say, one of the best since for years. So as a Bristol City fan, as you know, we beat 2-1. But what do you think? Like, as a rival fan, do you think Forest can push on after the form they've been doing?
I really do. I mean, I think when you get that kind of impetus, and I watch the. I always watch Quest, so I watch the highlights of games. Obviously, I don't watch full games of other clubs other than mine, but I did watch the cup game against Arsenal, and you were superb. The lad, is it Spence, the right wing back from Borough? Is it Borough?
Yeah.
He's on loan.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a player! What a player! And as you say, David's lad. I remember watching him on loan at Lincoln and being impressed with him. And he's obviously kicked on, and I'm sure there were clubs that were looking at him, in whether there were any serious bids or anything. But certainly you need to do well this season, because I think other clubs, in the Prem would be stupid not to be looking at him. And then you've got some old heads in there as well. The lad Cook from Bournemouth.
Yeah.
I've not, again, I watched that game. I've seen a couple of highlights, but he's a steadying influence there, and does well. The one that surprised me is, and again, it's only through watching the highlights, but Lolly seems to be a bit in and out, and maybe starting from the bench more.
He's not been playing. He's not been playing. It's like his form, and like I know he made assist against for Loud Till against Europe, but since then he's not played.
Has he not? Yeah, because he's one I've always been impressed with. And then there's the other lad in midfield, Yates, who got sent off against us at our ground 2 seasons back, I think.
2 seasons ago, 0-0. Was it 0-0?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah. But again, another good player. I mean, Forest have got some really good players, and I think when you've got the confidence that you're playing with, I apologise, Dor, I've not looked at the table to see where you are currently, but you must be nearing the playoffs, and certainly I would fancy you being, in the shake-up right at the end of the season. Fulham have obviously, and probably Bournemouth are the top 2, and then I think the playoffs could be really, really interesting. But yeah, and I like Steve Cooper as well. He's he's one of those Swansea. It always made me laugh that he took them to the playoffs, and yet fans weren't happy about it. And I know Swansea were in the Prem, but they're a bit like us. They've been through some really dark times, and you kind of think sometimes you've got to be careful what you wish for. He goes, Russell Martin's come in, they've done next to nothing, and obviously Cooper's come to you. I don't know how much money he's been allowed to spend and what players he's brought in. I get the feeling it's not much and not many, but he's obviously got you playing some really good football.
Before I get Matt, I always say Matt to all fans, like, before I start the season, where did you thought Bristol will finish?
Yep.
But right now, like I said, when you start first season, where do you thought you'll finish? And now, where do you think Bristol City will finish? So where do you thought?
Yeah. So really, the end of last season, had we not had the points we had at the start under Dean Holden, we would have been relegated. We were bottom of the form table for the last however many games. We made some signings in the summer that haven't necessarily worked out for one reason or the other. And I think we're probably 16th now. I think we'll probably finish where we are now. We might drop a place or 2. I think, as I said, that there are teams below us for varying reasons, form, the points deduction, that means we won't get dragged into it. I mean, we're on 40 points now, so probably a win tomorrow against you boys, and then and then one more, and we'll be okay. But yeah, no, in all seriousness, I think we will probably finish where we are. I put us to finish mid-table at the start of the season, because I just felt that we'd had such a terrible time at the end of last season that really, I always look, again, I'm a realist. I'm been following the club for 40 odd years. I always look for improvement season on season, and as long as we get that, I'm happy. We've invested a lot of money over the years. Our chairman, I mean, you've seen the ground and the changes that have been made there. I say the chairman, the owner now, his son's the chairman, has put a load of money in, continues to put a load of money in. COVID is going to change things. I don't know what it will mean for us in terms of next season and financial fair play. There's already a lot of talk that we're probably going to face points deductions next season if things don't change rules-wise. We won't be the only club, I'm sure. But yeah, I think we will finish probably 16th, 17th. I probably had us finishing maybe slightly higher than that at the start of the season, but only probably 13th, 14th. Certainly not challenging for anything.
Okay. Before I get Matt's prediction for tomorrow, people in the comments, what is your score prediction for tomorrow's game? As you know, I always say I won't give my prediction, but I think I will this time. Matt, I never give my prediction
Do you know I don't like giving predictions as well, Dor? I really don't. No, I really don't. Yeah, I will do for this. But I wouldn't normally. Yeah.
So people in comments, what do you think the score will be tomorrow? Before I do get Matt, like I said, people, please do hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. I'm trying to get to 7K before the season finishes. So Matt, last but not least, as we know, we don't do score predictions, but I'll give mine. So
Okay.
what's your score prediction tomorrow?
So I think we're going to have to play well, because I think you at home, the form you've been on. So I think if we play well, then I'll take us for a 1-1. If we don't play well, and we've been really porous at the back, I mean, we actually only avoided a record against Reading recently where it would have been something like 10 games in a row that we've conceded 2 or more goals. And we conceded another 2 the other night. So that's the concern really. And I think you've got, pace to burn. So yeah, if we don't play well, and by that I mean probably 7, 8, 9 of our players being at the top of their game, then we could see, a comfortable win for you, maybe 3-0 possibly. But I'll be positive and say that we will play well, and I'll go for 1-1.
So Matt said 1-1. Right, you got me on a good day, Matt, because I'm doing my score prediction. Because people keep moaning why I'm not doing a score prediction. I always do it like out before the game, so I'm going to do it right now. So my score prediction for tomorrow's game it's not going to be easy. I think I'll go for it. I think it'll be 3-1 Forest. 3-1 Forest.
That sounds pretty easy, Dor. 3-1.
I remember when we played against you lot. I mentioned it again. Like when you was 1-0 up, we wasn't poor. We wasn't.
No, you weren't. Yeah.
It was great.
So what are you thinking then? 1-1 up until the 91st minute, and then you get another 2 late goals.
Yeah, why not? No, that can't happen again. I hurt my chest.
Well,
if people know, right, and I'll say it, Matt. When we got the second goal, I hurt my knee. I slipped.
Did you?
I slipped. I hurt my head. But I didn't care. I was celebrating. But
the joy of being a football fan and seeing a winner, isn't it?
But what it was, because when I did my vlog, and it was funny, I was going home from the game, and my phone was dead, so I got home, checked my phone, and I saw Forest fans, City fans saying, "Oh, is that Dor screaming?" Because you hear from the Bristol City YouTube channel, you hear someone screaming.
Right. Okay.
Me. So, but I've never screamed in my life. So people call me Dor, screaming Dor. So, but it was.
Well, I promise if we get a last-minute winner tomorrow, I'll scream and make sure it's filmed.
Oh, dude. Are you going tomorrow, Matt?
Yes, I am. Yeah, I am. Yeah, I've not actually been to Forest for a couple of years, just because of various different things. Obviously, COVID, but before that, I was in New York when we played you, and I think that was Martin O'Neill's first game in charge, and we won that one. So, I think it was Martin O'Neill that had come back. But yeah, so I will be there. I'm looking forward to it. It's a ground I love. Forest ground, I absolutely love it. So yeah, it's one to look forward to. But yeah, as I say, we will have to play well to get anything from it. But again, at the moment, we're in a place where, as long as we see the lads trying and we're blooding these youngsters, that we hope sort of next season. But it's like we played Fulham, and we gave Fulham a really good game, and then fell apart in the second half. So you just don't know what we're going to get. But yeah, hopefully it's a good game, mate.
I was looking at odds on Sean. I had 3-1, 6-1-1. Get on it, Dor. I think I might now. Yeah. I don't do bets. I just don't do some bookies and do because I always.
I never bet against us. Yeah.
I never bet Forest. I bet other teams, but Forest. But
yeah, same as me. Yeah.
Hopefully, my team's right. Matt, it's been a pleasure.
Dor, lovely to meet you, mate. Yeah, no, thank you for inviting me. It's my pleasure.
As well, and I said before, if you just come on, Matt has got a podcast. People, the link is below. Yeah. Please go and support the channel. Like I said, I always support any other people's channels.
That's very kind of you. Thank you very much.
As well, people. I don't want to rub into Matt again. If you want to see the Forest blog, get
all right, Dor, I'll have a look at it when we finish.
It is one of the best blogs I've ever done. But people after the show, please, the link is below. Go on, watch it. It's fantastic. But Matt, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for coming in. I'll be at the ground tomorrow, people. So I know there's quite a lot of people want to meet me. I'll be at the Actually, I have the club shop at 1:30. If you don't see the club shop, I'm at the Union as well around 2ish. If you want to get your predictions on my vlog, you can do. Don't be shy to come on because I know there's a few people that are shy. Just come up to me. I'm not a monster, and I'm not saying no shit. But people do come on, and it is. But yeah, people, it's been a pleasure. Big game for Nottingham Forest. Hopefully, a repeat can happen. I don't want to keep repeating it because there's one of the best days of my life. But
You haven't stopped. I don't blame you. I don't blame you, pal. I don't blame you.
But yeah, people, thank you very much, everyone. And I said, people, I'll see you tomorrow and up the Reds.
All the best.